The planet Zorath was not a friendly place. It was wild and full of strange creatures. The sky was always dark with heavy clouds. The ground was rocky and sharp. Only a few lived there, mostly aliens who were tough and strong. They knew how to survive in this harsh world. Among these aliens was a young girl named Lyra. She was different from others. She was quiet and calm, but everyone on Zorath feared her pet. The pet was a creature no one wanted to meet in the dark. The pet was large, with shiny black scales and eyes that glowed red like fire. Its claws were sharp like knives and its teeth could tear through metal. The alien people called it Shadowfang. Wherever Shadowfang walked, the ground seemed to shake. Many said the pet was a monster sent to scare or hurt anyone who came near. But Lyra loved Shadowfang. She took care of it every day. She fed it strange glowing fruits from the deep forests and whispered soft words to it. To her, Shadowfang was not a monster. It was her friend and protector. One day, a group of traders came to Zorath. Among them was a human named Jack. Jack was from Earth, a small blue planet far away. He was a brave man who had traveled many stars. When Jack arrived on Zorath, he heard many stories about Lyra and her terrible pet. "Stay away from that girl," the traders warned him. "Her pet will kill anyone who gets close." Jack was curious. He did not believe in fear without reason. He wanted to see the pet for himself. Maybe the stories were just rumors or exaggerations. He found Lyra near a small campfire sitting quietly. Shadowfang lay beside her, its huge body calm and still. The red eyes watched Jack carefully, but it did not move. Jack took a step forward and spoke softly. "Hello, Lyra. I am Jack. I have heard much about you and your pet." Lyra looked at him with tired eyes. "Most people only see the pet, not me," she said quietly. "They fear what they do not understand." Jack smiled. "I want to understand. Will you let me get closer?" Lyra hesitated. No one had ever dared to come close before. But something in Jack's calm voice made her nod slowly. Jack stepped closer. Shadowfang rose on its strong legs and growled low. The sound shook the air. Jack stood still and looked into the pet's glowing eyes. "I'm not afraid," Jack said with a steady voice. Shadowfang sniffed the air and then relaxed. It lowered its head and let Jack touch its rough scales. Lyra watched with surprise. No human had ever touched Shadowfang and lived. Jack's calm heart seemed to have won the pet's trust. Over the next few days, Jack stayed with Lyra. He watched how she cared for Shadowfang. He saw the pet was not a mindless beast. It was smart and loyal. It protected Lyra but never attacked without reason. One evening, Jack asked, "Why does everyone fear Shadowfang so much?" Lyra sighed. Long ago, Shadowfang was part of a great war. It fought many enemies and saved many lives, but it also scared many with its power. After the war, people remembered only the fear, not the courage. Jack nodded. Sometimes people fear what is strong because they do not understand it. Suddenly, a loud noise came from the forest. Jack and Lyra turned to see a group of alien hunters coming fast. They had weapons and angry faces. "They want to take Shadowfang away," Lyra said, her voice shaking. "They say the pet is dangerous and must be destroyed." Jack stepped in front of Lyra. "I will protect you both." The hunters stopped at the edge of the camp. One of them shouted, "Give us the pet. It belongs to the planet, not to one girl." Lyra held Shadowfang's collar tightly. The pet growled and showed its sharp teeth. Jack looked at the hunters. "If you want to fight, you will have to face me first." The tension was high. Everyone waited for the first move. Shadowfang's eyes glowed brighter, and Jack felt the power behind those scales. Suddenly, a small noise came from the dark. A shadow moved quickly behind the hunters. It was one of Lyra's friends, an alien warrior named Rax. He shouted, "Leave them alone! This pet is part of our family." The hunters looked surprised and slowly backed away. Lyra breathed deeply. "Thank you, Rex," Jack smiled. "This pet is not just a monster, it is a symbol of hope and strength. That night, Jack sat near the fire and watched Shadowfang sleep peacefully beside Lyra. He knew this was only the beginning of a strange and dangerous adventure. The pet that everyone feared was not just a beast. It was a protector, a friend, and maybe something more. What secret did Shadowfang hold? Why was it so powerful? And how would Jack and Lyra face the dangers coming from the darkness? The story had just begun. The morning sun broke through the dark clouds of Zorath, but the planet still felt heavy and cold. Jack woke up with a strange feeling in his chest. Something was not right. Lyra was already outside, standing next to Shadowfang. The huge pet looked calm, but its eyes were sharp, watching the distant horizon. Jack walked toward them and said, "Lyra, tell me more about Shadowfang. There is something I don't know." Lyra looked at Jack with a small, sad smile. Shadowfang is not just any pet. It has a past no one dares to speak about. Jack sat down, ready to listen. Lyra began slowly. Long before I found Shadowfang, this planet was a battlefield. Many creatures fought for power and survival. Shadowfang was once a guardian of an ancient race that protected Zorath's deepest secret. Jack's eyes widened. What secret? Lyra's voice dropped to a whisper. There is a hidden power buried beneath the mountains. It can change everything. Life, death, even time. Many want it. Shadowfang was made to protect it. Jack felt a chill run down his spine. This was more than he expected. Suddenly, a low growl came from the forest edge. Shadowfang's ears twitched and it stood tall, alert. From the shadows, a group of strangers appeared. They were cloaked in black armor, their faces hidden behind strange helmets. Their weapons glowed with blue light. Lyra stepped forward. "Who are you? Why do you come here?" One stranger spoke in a cold voice. "We are the Seekers. We have come for the power beneath Zorath. Give us Shadowfang or face the consequences." Jack stood beside Lyra, his hand ready on his blaster. "You will not take him." Shadowfang growled louder, and the ground beneath them trembled. The Seekers moved forward slowly, their weapons raised. Jack's heart beat fast. He knew this was no ordinary fight. The future of the planet, and maybe the galaxy, was at stake. Lyra grabbed Jack's arm. "There is something you must know. Shadowfang and I share a bond deeper than you can imagine. If they hurt him, they will hurt me too." Jack looked at her, surprised. "How?" Lyra's eyes shone with tears. "Because Shadowfang is not just my pet. He is part of me." Before Jack could ask more, the Seekers attacked. Shadowfang leapt forward with fierce power. Jack and Lyra fought beside him. The battle was fierce, but the Seekers retreated into the dark forest, leaving behind a warning. "We will return." As the dust settled, Jack knew their fight had only begun. He had to uncover the secrets of Shadowfang's past and protect Lyra and the planet from the coming storm. The air on Zorath was thick with tension. Days had passed since the Seekers' attack, but no one felt safe. The planet's wild winds seemed to carry whispers of danger. Jack woke up to a strange silence. No birds, no distant roars, just quiet. He looked outside and saw Lyra standing alone on a cliff, staring at the dark horizon. Curious, Jack joined her. "What are you looking at?" Lyra did not answer. Her eyes were distant, as if seeing something no one else could. Suddenly, Shadowfang appeared behind her, silent as a shadow. Its massive body blended with the rocky cliff, its eyes scanning the land. Jack felt a cold shiver. Shadowfang was more than a pet. It was a silent guardian watching over everything. Lyra finally spoke, her voice soft but serious. "Shadowfang is not just strong. He can feel danger before it comes. He is connected to the planet in ways we don't understand." Jack looked at Shadowfang, trying to see what Lyra meant. At that moment, the ground shook slightly. A deep rumble came from beneath the earth. Shadowfang growled and moved quickly toward the forest. Lyra and Jack followed. They found a giant fissure opening in the ground, a crack glowing with strange blue light. Lyra's face turned pale. "This is the power Shadowfang protects. It is awakening." Jack stepped closer to the crack and felt a strange energy pulling at him. "We must be careful," Lyra warned. "If the Seekers find this, they will stop at nothing to take it." Suddenly, a figure stepped from the shadows. It was Rax, the alien warrior friend. "I have news," Rax said quietly. "The Seekers are gathering forces. They plan a full attack soon." Jack clenched his fists. "Then we have no time. We must protect the secret no matter what." Shadowfang growled again as if agreeing. Together, the human, the alien girl, and her silent protector prepared for the battle that would decide the fate of Zorath. Night fell quickly on planet Zorath. The dark sky was filled with stars, but no light reached the ground. It felt like the world was holding its breath. Jack was sitting by the fire cleaning his weapon. Lyra was nearby, whispering to Shadowfang. The huge pet lay quietly, but its eyes kept watching the shadows. Suddenly, a sharp sound broke the silence. A soft crack, like a twig snapping. Shadowfang's ears pricked up. It stood instantly, muscles tense and ready. "Something's coming," Lyra said, her voice low but steady. Jack grabbed his blaster and scanned the darkness. From the shadows, dozens of figures emerged. They were the Seekers, cloaked and armed, moving like ghosts in the night. The camp was surrounded. Jack stood up. "Get ready. This is no ordinary fight." Lyra pulled out a strange, glowing dagger. "We have to protect the secret. They cannot take Shadowfang or the power below." Shadowfang growled deep in its throat, stepping forward to guard Lyra. The Seekers attacked silently, but with deadly force. The air filled with laser fire and shouts. Jack fired back, covering Lyra as she moved toward the fissure glowing in the earth. Shadowfang leapt into the fight, its claws tearing through the Seekers' ranks. Despite their numbers, the Seekers were shocked by the strength and loyalty of the trio. But the battle was fierce. More Seekers kept coming from the dark. Jack shouted, "We can't hold them much longer." Lyra's eyes blazed. "Then it's time." She touched Shadowfang's head, and a strange light burst from the pet's eyes. The ground shook. Rocks cracked. A powerful energy rose from the fissure, swirling around Shadowfang. The Seekers stopped, afraid of the sudden power. Jack looked at Lyra, surprised. "What is happening?" Lyra smiled fiercely. "Shadowfang's true power is waking, and it will protect us all." The battle had turned, but the war for Zorath's secret was far from over. The air was still after the fierce battle. The Seekers had fled, but the cost was clear. The ground was torn and the camp was damaged. Yet something new had changed between Jack, Lyra, and Shadowfang. Jack sat quietly, watching Shadowfang. The pet now glowed faintly with the strange energy from the fissure. It was no longer just a fierce beast, it was something more. Lyra approached Jack slowly. Her eyes held a secret, one she had never shared before. "Jack," she began softly, "there is a bond between Shadowfang and me. It is not just pet and owner." Jack looked up, curious. Lyra took a deep breath. "Long ago, before I found Shadowfang, my family made a pact with the ancient powers beneath this planet. Shadowfang is part of that pact. We share life, pain, and strength." Jack's eyes widened. "You mean if something happens to him, it will affect you too?" Lyra nodded. "Yes. And that is why the Seekers want him so badly. They want to break our bond and take the power for themselves." Jack reached out and placed a hand on her shoulder. "Then we will protect each other, no matter what." Fang growled softly, as if understanding every word. Suddenly a faint pulse of energy spread from Shadowfang. Jack felt it too, a warmth mixed with power and hope. Lyra smiled for the first time in days. "Together we are stronger." But far away, hidden in the shadows, the Seekers planned their next move. They would not stop until the bond was broken. The true fight for Zorath's future was just beginning. The skies over Zorath darkened faster than usual. Thick clouds twisted and churned as if the planet itself was angry. Jack looked up and frowned. This storm, it feels different, he said. Lyra nodded. It's not just weather. Something powerful is waking. Shadowfang stood nearby, its eyes glowing brighter, almost like lightning in the storm. Suddenly, a loud roar echoed from the mountains. The ground trembled beneath their feet. Rax appeared, running fast, his face serious. The Seekers are coming. They bring weapons that can destroy the land itself. Jack clenched his fists. We have to stop them before they reach the fissure. Lyra took Shadowfang's collar tightly. The bond between us will give us strength, but the Seekers will not give up easily. As the wind howled around them, Jack, Lyra, and Shadowfang prepared for the biggest battle yet. The fate of Zorath and its hidden power was on the edge. The rising storm was not just in the sky. It was in the hearts of those ready to fight. The sky burned red as Zorath's twin sun set. The air was thick with smoke and fear. The final battle was near. Jack stood beside Lyra and Shadowfang at the edge of the glowing fissure. Their faces were calm, but their hearts beat fast. The BUR Seekers came like a dark wave, their weapons shining with deadly light. They were more powerful than ever, ready to take everything. Lyra looked at Jack. This is our moment. We fight not just for us, but for all of Zorath. Shadowfang growled low and stepped forward, muscles tense like a mountain ready to move. Jack raised his weapon. We end this here. The fight exploded in a storm of fire, claws and steel. Shadowfang moved with a power no one had seen before. Its glowing eyes cut through the darkness like swords. Jack and Lyra fought side by side, their bond stronger than fear. Every strike, every move was for survival and hope. As the battle reached its peak, a powerful light rose from the fissure. It wrapped around Shadowfang and spread across the land. The Seekers faltered, their weapons losing power. The ancient energy was waking, defending its guardian. With one final roar, Shadowfang charged, breaking the Seekers' lines. The enemy fled, broken and defeated. The silence that followed was heavy, but peaceful. Jack looked at Lyra. We did it together. Lyra smiled, tears in her eyes. The bond saved us all. Zorath was safe, but new adventures waited on the horizon for the human, the alien girl, and the strange pet that everyone feared.